Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans alike, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski, Sports Talk Chicago, one of the couple, two, three best podcasts around. So sit back, grab yourself a cold one and a Polish sausage, park your keister in the French room, and listen to Bill Swerski, Sports Talk Chicago.
In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose, as long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski, Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski, Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we're going to be talking about baseball being back in real. We'll be talking about NFL training camp getting ready to start, and we will be talking all kinds of shenanigans. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You get to see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. Sure, the season is not going on right now, but that shouldn't stop you from heading on over to icehogs.com, getting yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, we are just a couple of short days away from MLB regular season in an irregular season.
You know what? It feels weird, but it feels good because we're saying baseball is back, and we normally say that in March, but we're saying it in mid-July. And as we're recording right now, the Cubs and Sox are playing each other. So, first exhibition game of the year that's actually in an MLB stadium, even in spring training, the first spring training, they were all at their spring training facilities and whatnot. So, we're going to be seeing a baseball game happen in a major league stadium with no fans, and the first one in mid-July. It's so weird. We're finally seeing the Cubs and the Sox play each other, and not Cubs playing each other and Sox playing each other. It's weird.
It's super weird. And have they resolved the Marquee Sports Network issue with Comcast yet?
I don't think so.
So you're not going to be able to watch the games for most part, right?
Well, unless they figured out this week, I'm just going to have to rely on Virgil Patrick Hughes.
Wow, it's can we say everything involved with the Marquee Network has been a disaster? I mean, the timing of it, disaster, and I guess that's not really their fault, but the fact that they couldn't get a deal done with the biggest cable provider in the Chicagoland area, disaster. God, it's so weird watching. There's no fans. Looks like batting practice.
Yeah, it does. And you have those tents, too, that are expanded dugouts for both the Cubs and the White Sox. I mean, it seems like all major league ballparks are doing that. Basically, you have your dugouts, and then you extend the dugouts like into the stands under those tents, so you're social distancing. Part of baseball this year is going to be trying to maintain health protocol as much as possible. And when you have no fans, you could ideally have the players sitting in the dugout pretty much anywhere. When you think about it, in the stands, there's going to be no people sitting there. So you might as well social distance as much as you can just to keep things safe.
I mean, there's going to be players that are finding it funny that they're going to go sit in random places and do random things, especially like DHs where they know they don't have to go out in the field, so it's not going to take them 10 minutes to run down to the field. I think hopefully they can have some fun with it.
Try to keep the spirits light. That's obviously one of the things they're going to try to be doing during this whole thing.
Yeah, it's just this is all so weird. I mean, it's at least baseball being back. It just seems so weird.
Yeah, they're showing both managers. They're showing Rick Renteria and David Ross, and they all got masks in the dugout. They kind of like the classical surgical masks. I don't know if there's like a regulation for coaches, but we've seen other players wear masks on the field, and they've kind of made their own custom masks, kind of trying to make it their own. I don't really know if any of the coaches are going to be doing that or what. It's interesting, though. And, the other thing I noticed, too, is, during the game, you're still going to have, even in these exhibition games, you're still going to have video replay. So they will be doing that during these exhibition games. They did it in New York yesterday.
Yeah, video replay. Oh, here we go. A softie from Tim Anderson. Got him.
And Caratini's playing first base.
Yeah, so with the Cubs, Rizzo's got some issues, and probably not going to see him the start of the season.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. As time goes on, it's worrisome when you get older and your back doesn't get much better usually when you get older. I mean, he's not old, but he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's like right at baseball middle age, and you don't really want to mess around with that kind of thing. So I really hope that he's okay to go by opening day, but if he misses like a week, at least you can rely on Caratini to play the position, but you miss having that bat in the lineup.
Yeah, you really do. You miss it. And I guess the worrisome part for me is he's had a long time to get healthy. He's lost a bunch of weight. He's supposed to be in really good shape, and then this happens. That's what worries me a bit.
Yeah, for sure. He looks really different, like physically. You see him, and, in his face, he's a lot skinnier, a bit more muscular around the arms. It's noticeable because people were talking about what great shape he was in, and he was talking about what great shape he was in, and it's like, well, go figure, he's got the back problems. But again, those back problems are nothing new.
Yeah, it's nothing new, and back issues, they're nagging. That's, once you get it, it's like, especially with a bigger guy, once you have a back issue, they're hard to go away and they're easy to come back. So it is worrisome.
And I think, too, you're going to see more Rizzo at DH. I think that's just inevitable. And you hate to take that glove out of the field because, the dude's a platinum glove winner. But if that's what it takes to keep the man healthier, then I think you got to do it.
As good as his glove is, it's much more important to have his bat in the lineup.
Oh, absolutely, because he's one of the best all-around hitters on the team, and he's the guy that can make contact and has really good plate appearances. So if you're going to sacrifice some of the defense to have Rizzo just in the lineup, it's rather have that than not have him at all. And, Caratini plays a fine first base. And Chris Bryant can also play first base, too.
Kipnis has played first.
Yes, that's true. And look, if you have like Chris Bryant or someone else playing first base other than Caratini, then you can let Bodie get in the lineup too.
Yeah, Happ has played first. So you've got guys that can. It's not like you don't have an option. They're just not nearly as good. But you've got a decent defense in the infield. So digging balls out, probably not as big of a deal. It'll be the range that he covers at first base, and balls on the line, taking them away. I think that's the more important thing that you're losing.
Right.
But
absolutely.
I think that bat, the 280 with 30 some home runs 35 home runs is much more important.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Yeah, so you got to get him healthy, and you got to get that bat back in the lineup.
Now we see here Abreu just singled, and he did the elbow bump with Boston, the first base coach, and you're not going to see the traditional high fives and hugs that you would normally see in a regular season. We saw Abreu just do that little elbow bump right there, and they're trying to limit contact as much as possible. And, when you see a team win, they're not going to be doing that high five line like they normally do.
What about on a game-winning, home run or game-winning RBI when the guy comes home and everyone's cheering and clapping?
They all got to sit around the perimeter of the dirt, like that's around that home plate, and they all just got to do jazz hands.
Jazz hands, spirit fingers.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not going to do a lot of the hugging and the mobbing and the ripping off the shirt this year.
Oh man, so weird. The White Sox. Honestly, I was texting with my buddy Gary today, and he doesn't think the White Sox are going to make the playoffs.
Really?
I think he's just setting himself up just in case it's easier to accept if you're like, well, I didn't think they would make it in the first place. But
yeah, I hear that.
I don't know, man. This team, if you get Giolito looking like he did at any point last season, if you can get Reynaldo Lopez looking like he did 2 years ago, Dallas Keuchel looking like he has the last few years, I think you've got a realistic chance to make the playoffs. You're gonna have, I think you're gonna have an up and down, sporadic offense because that's what happens with young hitters. Young hitters, they're streaky, and you're gonna see times when they put up some stupid offensive numbers, and you're gonna see other times where they just get mowed down. But I think if you can have decent pitching in your starting rotation, I think this team has a really good chance of making the playoffs. And I'm calling it now. We are a handful of days before game 1, that 60-game season, they make the playoffs.
I'm going very bold. I picked them to win the division. I know it's bold, but I wrote a Cubbies Crib article about my predictions for the standings each division. I picked the White Sox.
I don't know if it's even that bold. I mean, it's...
Everyone's picking the Twins, but...
I think the Twins, you're going to see some bad regression on them.
I think so, too.
I think so, too. It's... but I think the White Sox have a solid chance of winning that division. I'm sure there's going to be somebody there that surprises you, that steps up.
I think the Indians can still be in the mix quietly. They've lost a lot, but they can still be there.
The Indians have a chance. The Royals don't.
The Tigers and Royals are the only ones I don't think have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota could have a good year, but I think they regress. I think the White Sox, I'm going to call it, they win the division. But somebody will be right there, chasing them along the way. And I don't know if it's going to be the Twins or the Indians, but it's going to be one of those teams that's chasing.
Yeah, because you look at the Indians, they lost Corey Kluber, but Shane Bieber looks very promising as a starting pitcher, and Mike Clevenger, if he's healthy, he's very good. If Carlos Carrasco could actually put it together, he's had a really rough go, and he battled some illness, and for his sake, I would love to see him come back. I would love to see him pitch well. I don't really know what his status is, but if he comes back and pitch well, what he went through, I am rooting hard for that guy. Really am. And their lineup, if Jose Ramirez bounces back and you have Francisco Lindor, I mean, those are your big boppers right there. Carlos Santana, too. My big thing with the Indians is I just don't think they have enough depth.
They don't have a lot of depth, but in a shortened season, I don't think that's as important as it is in a 162-game season. And losing Corey Kluber is, on paper, that's real bad. Mm-hmm. But honestly, he's not the same guy that he was in 2016.
No, he wasn't. No, he's not. No.
He's not a bad pitcher by any stretch, but he's also not the same guy. and I think that he's replaceable.
At this point, yeah. You know what I've noticed too is the AL Central has a lot of good farm systems. The Twins have a good farm system. The White Sox obviously have talent in their farm system. The Indians have a very good farm system. And boy, look out for the Tigers because they're really stacking up in their farm system. They just got the #1 overall pick, Torkelson. He looks good. Casey Mize, he looks good. So the future in the AL Central is looking very bright. And, you know, maybe in a few years it becomes one of the best young divisions in baseball, and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, here's the 2020 Steamer projections for Corey Kluber. 4-4 record with a 4.25 ERA, 1.26 WHIP.
So pretty mediocre.
Yeah, the Roto Champ has him a little better. 4-3, 3.69 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. But every projection has him the best projection has him at a 1.2 WHIP. So 1.20 to 1.26 WHIP with ERAs from 3.69 to 4.28.
Oh, Kipnis, deep fly ball, gone. Jason Kipnis with a home run.
That's good to see. I like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not looking like a front end starter with Corey Kluber at this point. So I just, you know, I ding them a lot for losing him. But in the reality is I don't watch as much American League Baseball as I do in National League. And just looking at the stats here, it's, you know, that's a replaceable pitcher.
Yeah, if we were talking 2016, it would be pretty different. So, yeah, I mean, the Indians are going to be there. The Twins should be there, but I agree there's going to be regression. I think the Royals, for the White Sox, the Royals are going to be kind of like what the Reds have been to the Cubs for a number of years, where they're just really pesky and annoying, even though they're not necessarily going to make the playoffs.
Ooh, that just took one off the face.
That was a Baez ball. That's yikes. And he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask under his mask.
I mean, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. That's Mark Carlson, home plate umpire. Oh, good thing it's not Joe West.
Joe West would have it in for the Cubs the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
He fallen off my face on purpose.
I got to make it all about me. That's the Joe West way.
The Joe West.
Oh boy.
So we've got that Kyle Hendricks is going to be opening day starter.
Mm-hmm.
And Yu Darvish will be second.
Third is going to be Tyler Chatwood.
That was surprising, not surprising.
Yeah, because it's surprising that Tyler Chatwood would be that high, but I understand David Ross wanting to save John Lester for game 1 of that Reds series.
Yeah, I think, you know, the nice part is, you know, John Lester is a kind of an ornery guy as far as managing him. You know, not like a Manny Ramirez or anything, but he's set in his ways. He's got, you know, there's things that he wants to do, and having David Ross be the new manager who knows him, is caught for him, you know, they're friends. I think he can say things and do things where John Lester is going to be much more accepting than if it was, you know, any other manager.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I also think John Lester is smart enough to know where he is in his career to kind of be like, yeah, you know, I'm not the guy I used to be. I'm going to give it my all, but I understand. And, you know, sometimes I think rotation order is a little overrated, in my opinion. I mean, you're going to go every 5 days.
Yeah, other than the opening day starter, you're right, it is a little overrated. And, you know, a guy like John Lester, you do him a favor by putting him in optimal spots.
Yeah, exactly. I think playing matchup is better than, like, pride, if that makes sense.
I mean, when you have a solid rotation, and you put it in. These are our 1 through 5 starters, and they go every 5 days, and you don't have to worry about injuries or, like extended slumps and things like that. That's a great position to be in, and you just plug them in and you go. But for the most part, most teams are going to have a 6th starter in there, or somebody making spot starts for an injury. And these things get jumbled up anyway. Sometimes in a regular season, when you go from playing every day to having a couple of days off, you can reshuffle that order a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then things get sort of out of whack anyway. So I think for a guy that's a front end starter, it doesn't matter. You just give him the ball. It doesn't matter who that matchup is. John Lester's not at that point in his career anymore. He's got to take advantage of matchups that benefit him. You got to you got to put him in positions where he's going to be have the best opportunity to get a good outing.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the big question is Quintana going to be ready, or when is he going to be ready? He started to throw last Thursday after the thumb injury, washing a glass. Another weird injury. A long list of weird injuries for the Cubs, along with the Sammy Sosa sneeze, the Steve Rainbow Trout falling off the bike, the Brandon Morrow putting on of the pants. Just another long list of weird injuries. But, if Quintana misses like one start, it's really not a big deal. I'd rather they kind of be cautious with him instead of rush him back. So even if he seems to be ready around opening day, I don't know. This is just my personal opinion. If I was David Ross, I'd be like, all right, we're going to have Alec Mills take your place this first time around, and then second time around, we'll bring you back.
Honestly, it's going to depend on how that arm is, because he would have missed all of the quote spring training. So it's going to be how he feels. I think if it was he was ready to go and pitch in a game, he would probably miss one start and be able to go. But if he's in a spot where he's like, okay, the thumb is okay, but I'm not ready to pitch 6, 7, 8 innings, and I need to stretch out, then that might cost him another couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's true. It seems really unlikely right now that we're going to know for a little while what's going to happen. I mean, I would be shocked if he was ready to go the opening week. Absolutely shocked.
Yeah, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. He's throwing, that's good, because honestly, is with that thumb, I think we both talked about it before, is if they would have told us anything, he missing an entire season or be ready for week 1, I think any of those, anywhere in between, we would have been like, okay, I can buy that. And the fact that he's throwing now is a good sign. I think part of it is going to be what do the sutures look like after he's throwing? Is there any irritation to the surgical site? Is he feeling comfortable? Is he holding the ball well? Because sometimes all of the strength could be there, the grip could be there, but when you're holding the ball, if you have uncomfortableness, you're not going to hold it right, and the grip is really important. If you're not gripping the ball right, you could just have a shot season. Look at guys that just have like a blister on their hand, and it causes them all kinds of issues.
Yeah, I mean, remember all those years with Kerry Wood and his blister issues, and we saw it with Rich Hill as well. Those can, just gripping the ball makes all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important. And look in the Sox game, they're both wearing the same jersey.
Yeah. And the bat just came flying out of Luis Roberts' hands.
But yeah, grip is important. And so I think it's just going to be, how does he feel after he throws it a little bit? Is he going to have inflammation? Is he going to split the suture spot? Because, if the motion of throwing a baseball and that velocity, the torque on your hand, and if that's going to open up the sutures on your thumb or cause the incision spot to split a little bit, of course you're not going to play. So I don't know what any of that looks like. So we haven't really gotten a lot of word on that. So it's I think we might not find out until opening game.
Probably not. 2 quick outs for Kyle Hendricks. Boy, he threw Luis Roberts something really nasty.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, the umpiring's been good. That one that Schwarber didn't like, that was a strike.
Oh, that was absolutely a strike.
It was a good pitch. That last one that Luis Robert didn't like, that was a perfect pitch.
Yeah, that was nasty.
I think the ump so far, maybe that rattled something loose. I like his strike zone so far.
Yeah, it's spring training 2.0 for the umpires, so it's obviously not going to be all perfect. But yeah, there have been a few calls kind of borderline, but overall, not bad. And Kyle Hendricks' command looks really good. Yeah,
he looks mid-season form. Honestly, I'm curious, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about this, is I wonder what having the no crowd noise and fans yelling and things, how is that going to improve things for the umpire?
I don't know.
You don't have that distraction. You just really focus on the baseball.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what kind of things are you going to see. Are you going to see batters have an easier time because they're able to focus? It's probably weirder for the pitchers.
Yeah, I think it's going to affect people differently. Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting, and especially when come contract time, when what impact is having the no crowd going to have on your season? If it's like hey, my whole life I've been used to the crowd noise and being quiet, threw me off, and I had a bad season at the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? It's so many odd things, and I saw that professional soccer in Europe, they've been piping in crowd noise. And did you see where they're getting the crowd noise from?
No, I didn't.
From EA Sports, the soccer video game.
Oh, I did hear about that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
So they're piping in video game crowd noise.
That's kind of funny.
That's cool that video games have gotten that advanced where that's the best crowd noise you can find is through video games.
Yeah. It's, what's weird too is there are times when the fake crowd noise sounds really good, and there are times where it sounds really bad. Yeah,
I forgot. I saw or I heard an audio clip, and I forget where it was from, what sport. But maybe it was baseball, and they piped it in, but it was like the cheers were after things happened, but it was a little late. So like on a double, the crowd didn't start going crazy until the guy was almost at second base. So it was just like the timing was off on it. It sounded okay. So like if I hadn't seen it, and you were just like, oh, the guy's coming to second, and you hear I'd been like, okay, the noise sounds good, but it was just whoever was controlling it was off on it. You'd think at like the crack of the bat and seeing it's about to land that all the cheers would come out.
Yeah, they did a good job with a few of the home runs that the Cubs hit, and they did the whoomp, there it is after that. I didn't see any of or at least I didn't hear any of the Sox clips of the home runs. I saw the Luis Robert home runs from yesterday, and boy, the one he hit off former Cubs Steve Cishek, it's like, oh my goodness. He hit that to like the back of the pavilion. But I did not hear the crowd noise on that, so I couldn't judge how good that was.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're just a couple of days away from baseball, and I'm so curious of how this season is going to go. It is such a wild time. I mean, I was talking with my buddy Brad about it, and he's not even convinced that they're going to finish the season.
Yeah, I can't say I'm 100% confident that they will. I just feel like it's going to be a play by ear thing. We'll see how the tests come. We'll see how healthy everybody is. We'll see if anyone else opts out because, here's an interesting thought. What if there's a team that by that trade deadline in late August, I think it's like the last day of August, you're going to September, you're completely out of it. And there's some more cases that are rising. What if you say, well, if we're out of it, I don't want to catch it, I'm out?
That's a possibility. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about it either until somebody brought it up on Twitter. I'm like, oh, that's not a bad point.
I read though that Canada is not going to let the Blue Jays play in Toronto.
The Buffalo Blue Jays now.
Is it official they're going to play in Buffalo?
Well, I heard that's what they were talking about. I don't know if it's official or not, but it seemed like it'd make the most sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the closest major city in the U.S., so, man, that sucks for them. I mean, it might, honestly, though, it might save a whole lot of hassle because if you're playing in Toronto, teams are going to have to cross over that border, and they still have that border lockdown, I believe. So
yeah, it's locked up nice and tight.
So you're going to have, all kinds of political mumbo jumbo to be able to get a team across to play. So I think I think Canada did them a favor by telling them you can't play here because then. We can all keep it in the United States, which is just Wild West anyway. So, keep it all in the house.
Yeah, they're still looking for an official place. And, somebody brought this up too. It'd be really weird, but have they done anything with the Rangers' old ballpark yet?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What if they played there?
I mean, that would suck, having to be so far from home. But it's got to be weird too, is if you're close enough to drive to your house, but really can't go there on a regular basis.
Yeah, it would be weird. I was just thinking too, if they do end up playing in Buffalo, does that mean like every home run is going to be celebrated with a fountain of Bills fan puke?
That would be awesome. Is the Bill fan puke is all outside and there's somebody kayaking in it like it's like a Candlestick Park?
That is so disgusting.
I know how to ruin it.
That is so gross.
But honestly, if they have no fans in there, can't they just play in minor league parks?
As long as it's all regulation size, I don't see why not. It'd be like...
But the thing is, there's no such thing as regulation size in baseball.
Well, I mean... True. I'm just saying, as long as the fences aren't like 200 feet down the line, like the polo grounds, and then 500 feet the center,
like they're playing at the softball stadium in Rosemont.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Speaking of Rosemont, they actually have the Chicago Dogs playing again.
For real?
Uh-huh. They only allow so many people in, but they're playing the games. They're having small crowds, and they resumed just a few weeks ago, I think.
Huh. That's interesting. Rosemont probably just letting them do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, there's only a few teams in the league. I don't think the league is very big, so they're just playing a set amount of teams. I don't know if they're just limiting. I don't really know much about that league, to be honest with you. So I don't know how many teams there are exactly, but there is Chicago Dogs baseball happening in Rosemont. Unfortunately, there's no Chicago Bandits softball. That season was canceled way back, way back.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know, man. It's wild. In different baseball news, the other day, my best friend he's got like a summer house in Indiana, and he and his wife have been holed up, and their kid have been holed up there throughout all this, because their son is just a couple months younger than my daughter, and they live in the city and they don't have a yard, so in Indiana he can just go out and play in the yard, and they put an artificial ice rink in the garage so he can skate, play hockey, but that means I don't see him that often, and especially with the COVID. They were in town for the night, and so we met up for food. We ate it like picnic style. We picked it up and just ate in Oz Park in Lincoln Park, and they had all his baseball stuff, and so I was throwing him a few pitches, and my friend's wife was like, "I'm gonna take a couple pitches before we leave." I'm like, "All right, but I'm just throwing you knucklers." She's like, "I don't care." So I literally was just throwing her a straight diet of nothing but knucklers, and on like the third pitch, I sawed her off, and she made contact and cracked her son's bat.
Oh. Oh.
So, but like, it was funny because their son was so excited. He's like, "I've always wanted to crack a bat." So he had a cracked bat, but I was throwing nothing but knucklers.
So you can throw a nice knuckleball, huh?
I mean, I'm not Tim Wakefield, but I can make some people look stupid.
My hands are not big enough. You know what I'd love? I would love one day, you and I, let's go out, let's hit some baseballs. I want to try to hit that thing.
All right, we'll go out and I will throw my knuckler.
All right.
I'm not the most, like, I need people to swing at it, because I'm not Mitch Williams out there throwing over your head or anything, but I keep it in the strike zone. Not that great at it, but if I get people swinging at it, yeah. I remember I didn't.
I'll just be shimmying around trying to hit it.
Yeah, my best friend, he had his catcher's mitt, and I didn't tell him I was throwing the knuckler. I threw the first one. He goes, "Damn, throwing knucklers."
Yeah.
He's like, "That one just had some movement on it."
You know, it's funny. The knuckleball, if you get just that perfect, like, just that non-rotating, just wobble, the amount of just stupid swings you can get as a result of that, it's so funny. I learned to throw it from my dad, and my dad could throw a good knuckler. And I remember when I was a little kid and I was getting ready to join Little League, and my dad had me in the yard and was pitching to me. And I'm learning how to hit a baseball from a pitcher, and my dad is throwing me nothing but knuckleballs and laughing his ass off as I'm just swinging and falling down. And I'm like, "No, just throw me just lob it to me." No, you got to learn how to hit a knuckle. I'm like, there will not be a single kid in Little League throwing a knuckleball. There will not be a single one. Yeah, it's funny because knuckleballers, you got to have big hands, and some people can put the knuckle curve on it, and that takes skill.
That you have to have, bigger hands than mine. You have to have a real good grip. I get the nice movement on it with the no spin. Or minimal
the wobble.
Spin.
You get the wobble.
Yeah, it'll move side to side there.
You know what my dad could throw? A screwball.
Oh, nice.
But you don't want to throw those because it will destroy your elbow.
Yeah, I have no problems with my knuckler. I can throw a curve. I can throw a knuckler. I can't vary my speeds up. I can throw off speed, but my fastball's not that fast. So you could tell the difference when I'm throwing a fastball and when I'm throwing a changeup. So kind of makes both pitches weak. but I
Yeah.
could throw a nice curve, and I could throw a decent knuckler. But my buddy Gary is in he's in his 40s now, and he's still playing baseball.
Oh, good for him.
And he's in an old man league, and then he's in just an open league. And he said the other week he was playing against the guy who was in the Giants farm system and was throwing 95.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's just not fair.
Wow. You know what's crazy is if you go like on YouTube or whatever and you look up like GoPro cameras of like catchers or like a catcher cam, and you just watch like a pitcher throw like 90, 92, you're mesmerized. Like, how does somebody hit that?
Oh, I know. One time, maybe I was college age, I was at a pitching thing that they could crank it up to 88 miles an hour. And I took an at bat on it, and it was like, this is just stupid. Like, I can't hit. I would have to, like, as soon as I saw, like, it took me a minute to figure out what the timing was. Because you know how pitching machines, like, at the batting cages, some of them just come right out, and some of them have, like, a delay before it launches them. Like, the ball will drop down, and then it shoots out. So it took me, like, a round to figure out the timing of when it would pitch. But the next time I went, I literally, as soon as I saw it was about to, I was already prepping my swing. So I'm like, how are these guys able to do that when they're throwing, throwing off speed stuff, throwing curves, throwing sliders, throwing, high fastballs, throwing things in the dirt. Like, I would have like a 0 batting average in pro baseball.
Well, imagine facing like a hard thrower, say like 95, 96, and they have like 3 pitches, just 3 pitches. Say they have like a fastball, a changeup, a slider. So if he throws you a fastball, you see how fast it is. A changeup could either come in a lot slower, or the slider will just, dive. Like, you have practically no time to make up your mind. Like, it's got to be lightning fast. And your bat speed has to be fast enough to make contact. It's like, it really makes you appreciate just how good you have to be a major league hitter.
I know. And then you look at a guy like a Mike Trout, that, has the power and can put up a high batting average. Or you look like a guy like George Brett that could bat almost 400.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's unreal. Or you look at some of those guys that had on base percentages that were close to 500,
like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, you're just like, good God, like, how in the world? I mean, basically, like, it's really hard to get you out, and I'm looking at it as like, man, I would just like to make contact sometimes.
Barry Bonds might have had the best hand-eye coordination of any player ever.
He right up there. I mean, I would, in my lifetime, I would say maybe Tony Gwynn.
Him too.
But in all time, you gotta put Ted Williams up there. But yeah, I would say Barry Bonds is right in that conversation.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, do you remember when Barry Bonds would be intentionally walked with the bases loaded because they said giving up 1 run is better than 4?
It's true. I've watched it happen, and you're just like, you are literally giving up a run because statistically you're going to give up more if you pitch to him.
Yeah.
Like, because, you have to figure in all the times that he'll get a base hit, or multiple base hit or a home run. And it's probably mathematically, if he's got the bases loaded, you're probably going to give up like 2.5 runs if you pitch to him. You're like, okay, well, statistically, I'm going to give up 2.5. I'm going to give up 1.
Yeah, you'd rather take the chance giving up the 1 than giving up 4, especially in prime roided Barry Bonds.
That was the thing, is he was always a good baseball player, but when he had it, he was so roided up that any little, like, time he made solid contact with it was going out, that just, doubled everything down. You were just like, all right, well, anything that would have been a fly ball is going 10 rows deep. Anything in the warning track otherwise is now going out of the park. It's just stupid,
Imagine the juiced balls against in prime, roided up Barry Bonds. A full season.
He would have had 100 home runs.
Probably. I mean, think about that. And imagine if he used a metal bat.
That's just, people would have got hurt with that metal bat and the exit velocity from that bat.
Could you imagine? Imagine the rigging off that thing. And I hate metal bats. I don't care if they hit harder. I hate them. They hurt.
Oh, I hate them. I hate metal bats. I grew up playing with a wooden bat, and when I started in Little League, we played with an aluminum bat, and I just hated it. It's a weird feeling.
I don't like the sound either.
I don't like the sound. I don't like the way it feels. I like a wooden bat, and with a metal bat, you have you have a grip at the end. I like a bat that has no grip. I like the feel of the wood.
Me too.
I don't like batting gloves. I just like the raw wood in my hand, and that sounded dirty, but I am not a fan of aluminum bats.
Yeah, I don't either. And now they do the BB core bats. I don't know if you know that, where it's not as ringy and it doesn't hit quite as hard. It's a safety reason. And those are a little better. I mean, again, they don't hit as hard, but they feel a little better, and they don't have that ugly to it. But still, nothing beats a wooden bat. The pop off a wooden bat, the feel of swinging a wooden bat, that's just the best.
Yeah, the sound is great. The sound of the crack of the bat, not the dong of the bat. It's so much better. And like playing in colder weather, having that aluminum bat hurts. It sucks. I don't like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I remember playing Little League, and it was cold. Like, I mean, it was like 50-something degrees. And I hit a ball, and I literally, I had no batting gloves, and I swung, and I hit the ball, and I literally just dropped the bat and started shaking my hands because they hurt. And then I got thrown out. Like, I probably would have made it, but I was just like, it hurt. So I paused to shake my hand because it hurt. I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
All right, what else did we got? NFL training camp is starting real soon.
Yes, so far so good. Yes, no.
I mean, I'm a little bit shocked here with the NFL. The NFL is usually like the very, I'm not progressive in their politics, but as far as learning from other sports and taking advantage of the situations and to benefit themselves, they're usually right on top of that. And the fact that they've had months of the other sports scrambling and trying to figure out ending seasons, starting new seasons, restarting seasons, and they had all this time to figure things out. And NFL has really not been on the ball with that.
You know, you hear the least about NFL in terms of COVID concerns, and I mean, part of it's just because the NFL season doesn't start for another few months, but I think training camp would be really concerning because you can social distance in baseball, but when you're NFL training camp and it's a contact sport, it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing, the running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, but the offensive and defensive linemen, man, they're in on it. There's no social distancing there. If I was one of those guys, I would be second guessing myself. or my decision to play. And I saw DeMarcus Lawrence is considering opting out of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that too. Now, weren't they proposing, I think there was just a concept. I don't know if it was them or somebody proposing to them. I remember somebody showing a picture of a special COVID helmet where there's a shield.
Yeah, I think there was one that I saw that it was definitely a hoax fan thing. But I saw another one where it was more like a face shield part of the helmet, just to prevent spit and other things from flying into players' faces.
Yeah, I think that it would be smart to at least try something like that, where you're not blocking their vision, you're not altering the helmet's protection, but you're just kind of making a safety guard. And you think they'd wear maybe specialized gloves or something, especially the linemen, just extra protection on the skin.
Yeah, we'll see what other things they do, and honestly, we'll see what happens in the training camps. Of, do we see a bunch of people get sick? Baseball is much easier to socially distance because other than the catcher and the batter and the umpire, outside of the dugout, really, you don't have to be near anybody.
No, you don't. I mean, you can do workouts easily, social distance. But again, like you said, in football, especially with offensive linemen, it's a little different. Now, I guess another question I have is, how are they going to have, those scrimmage games? I mean, that's a big part of camp.
Yeah, I think that makes it tough. Man, Javi really booted that one.
Yeah, that was routine. You don't see that very often.
I don't even know what he did. I can't figure out. He got it clean in the glove. Just fall out of his glove.
Yeah, it just kind of popped out. Oh well, get the jitters out now, I guess.
Yeah, get them yips out. But yeah, so the NFL, they haven't been proactive. You've got players starting a social media campaign saying that if the NFL doesn't start following their medical people's advice, there's not going to be football.
Yeah,
and I saw Drew Brees and Richard Sherman were part of it.
Yeah, I didn't see who else was part of it. I just know that it was a thing.
Yeah, who else is... Drew Brees tweeted out, "We need football, we need sports, we need hope. The NFL's unwillingness to follow the recommendations of their own medical experts will prevent that. If the NFL doesn't do their part to keep players healthy, there is no football in 2020. It's that simple. Get it done at NFL." Richard Sherman tweeted, "The NFL has ignored the safety recommendations from the experts that they hired. We all love this game and want to go out and compete with our brothers. The NFL needs to provide a safe work environment for us to do that."
Well, they're taking it seriously, obviously. I mean, they got to worry more than anybody. So it's definitely got to be worrisome for them. And, they play a sport where there's so much physical exertion and, COVID can affect people very differently. And that could really, if they catch it and you play a game like football, the long-term effects can, be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, basketball is going to be another one where they're all on top of each other.
Yeah, how they get... Yeah, the basketball, that seems like kind of a mess.
I'm wondering how many people are going to opt out once they start in on this.
Yeah.
But, we got training camp starting in less than 10 days. That'll be nice. But really, the only thing on the Bears front is Allen Robinson and the Bears. There's no contract extension talks. And I don't know how to feel about that. As a player, if you expect the Bears, if you're Ryan Pace and you expect the Bears to be good, I don't see why you're not at least negotiating with Allen Robinson. The only
Yeah.
point I would see is if you're like, you know what, I am not real confident about Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky, and if both guys suck and we're going to have to tank to get a real quarterback, why do we want to lock up a wide receiver like Allen Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that too. I just feel like even if there's a lot of mystery between the two, you kind of feel like Ryan Pace would be trying to win now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you got him under contract for this year.
Right, and that I mean, it's not like it has to happen right now, but I just think that he deserves at least the talk to start.
Yeah, the Bears are expected to have $40 million in cap room next year. And so I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is either that or they're expecting one of their younger wide receivers to take a big step up, which I'm not as confident of. Allen Robinson is far and away your best wide receiver. He's the actual number one wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, and it feels really good to have a number one wide receiver, a real one. Let me just say that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that wide receiver salaries have gone stupid high when you have guys like Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Odell Beckham, Stephon Diggs, all making north of $20 million a year.
And then there's Pat Mahomes. I'm just saying, I know he's not a wide receiver. I'm just saying, if we're talking about money.
You know what's funny is that deal for $500 million is going to be cheap in a couple of years.
I know. It really is. It really, really is.
So the Chiefs not only got the best quarterback in the league, but they locked him up for a reasonable deal.
Yeah. Excuse me. Just.
It's frustrating. It's just frustrating. Is why can't the Bears catch a break like that?
They never seem to be able to. They can fill all the other positions well, but not quarterback.
You know what, though? We at least got one thing going for us with the Bears.
What's that?
We're not the Redskins.
Yeah.
That team is a hot mess.
That's putting it lightly.
I mean, so we already have them basically being forced to change the name of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll get to that in a minute. Then you have the story breaking with 15 women coming forth with the hostile sexual environment and the organization.
Just
the
awful
rampant
stuff.
sexual. Yeah, it's awful. But then, I mean, that's bad. That's really bad. But then there's rumblings where, and these are coming from like legitimate sources like Jason LaConfora and some other ones, that there's going to be more to the story where Dan Snyder abuses both alcohol and drugs, that they were paying NFL officials up to $2 million, that Jay Gruden and Dan Snyder were prostituting cheerleaders to season ticket holders and holding their passports as hostage, that Snyder and Gruden were having sex parties with rampant drug use and sexual assaults, and that a source also stated that Jay Gruden and former running back Capri Bibbs were allegedly at one point sleeping with the same woman. Gruden found out, got angry, and benched Bibbs. The next game, Bibbs' replacement missed a key block that resulted in Alex Smith suffering a broken leg.
And that broken leg injury was...
Smith has had 17 surgeries and hasn't been able to play since. Like, if these other things come out, isn't that like a death sentence from the NFL? Don't they have to force Dan Snyder to sell?
I would think so.
I mean, they've got to be on at least discussing that at this point right now, where for so long he wouldn't change that name of that team, and now all these allegations coming forward, like the NFL's got to be like, man, this is bad because you look at what they do to players that put a black eye on the team or on the league. Dan Snyder is a complete disaster for this league, and he's an owner. It's not like he's a player that's just going to be a problem for 3, 5, 7 years. This is an owner of a franchise that's going to be owning this team for another, 40 years.
Yeah, this has to be dealt with harshly. If the NFL really wants to send a message, it's got to be dealt with very harshly.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the other owners voted him that he had to sell.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Like, Dan Snyder is just an absolute asshat.
That's
there's a lot of
insulting the asshats.
There's a lot of owners that are just piles of garbage, and I know we all hate the McCaskey family here in Chicago, but I think they're good people. I just don't think they're good owners.
Right, exactly.
I think
they're
they're
meatballs.
legitimately, as far as ownership goes, I think they're probably the nicest of people as far as of NFL team owners. There's a lot of turds that own teams, but Dan Snyder might be the turdiest of the turds.
Yeah, you're probably right. Have you ever seen that South Park episode where he's on the field alone facing the entire Dallas Cowboys? He just has the ball. He's going, hot, 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 and they just pile on him.
South Park.
Hot, hot, hot.
South Park is so good.
It is.
That show is just so smart.
Oh, yeah, they really are. They really are.
They're smart, but everything they do has to be very. It's smart in a different way. Like there's things that are smart that are very highbrow. They're very lowbrow smart, which is not very common. Lowbrow smart.
And the good thing about South Park too is they're not biased into who they pick on. I mean, they literally make fun of everybody. Oh, Chris Bryant hits it high and deep, way back. Oh, at the warning track. I just missed it.
Wait, hold on. This is how far of a delay I'm in. Just caught.
Man, he just missed that. Just missed it. Got under it a little bit.
So, what else do we got in sports here?
I got something.
What is that?
Did you hear about the hub city for the NHL?
No.
You didn't hear about Edmonton?
Oh, was that the one where they had the guy just laughing about how terrible it is?
Well, their stadium flooded.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, a few days ago from a
knowing Edmonton, it might be a frozen pipe.
Yeah, I thought it was a storm, but that would be something. Yeah.
Well, did you see the video of the Canadian guy with missing teeth, where I don't know what language he's speaking, but he is like, and then what's the other city? Is it Toronto?
I think.
He's like, you tell half the guys they can go to Toronto and there's the nightlife and things that they can do, and then you send the other ones to Edmonton, and he's like, and he just laughing. He's like, it is one of the more ridiculous things that I've seen. I laughed my ass off when I saw the video. Oh man, let's see if I can just play the laugh part here.
Yeah, I want to hear the laugh part.
The players and their family have stay for months. They want someplace fun and happening. So of course Toronto is one of the choices. And the other city is Alberta.
agarrar metí entre las piedras de Chipiona, del faro. Y cuando entro en el restaurante me ve el cocinero con una paellera y a ver solamente paellera. ¡Asómate, mira dónde llega el agua! Llegaba el agua hasta el restaurante. Había subido la marea.
Oh my goodness.
Con los dos sacos de arroz. ¡Ay, llama para Sevilla! ¡Llama a Sevilla que traigo
My goodness.
He's like Edmonton. He's like they could have had it in Vegas, but then the corona cases were went up. He's like now they go to Edmonton, and all they've got is 4 orange Juliuses. He's like I'd rather get corona in Vegas. Oh, that guy is amazing. This video goes on. I'm not even halfway through it. I'll
Wow.
have to send you the link. I'm crying. I'm laughing. So I'm just watching him. He's missing all his front teeth. And he's got like a radio show and he is just ripping Alberta and laughing.
That's funny. You'll have to send me that.
Oh man. But Edmonton. Isn't that where Jonathan Taves is from?
He's from no
Calgary.
No, he's from no, where is he from? I gotta look it up now. I was thinking Thunder Bay, but that's Patrick Sharp. Jonathan
Maybe Calgary. I thought Calgary.
Oh, he's from Winnipeg. That's right. He's from Winnipeg.
That's right. Yeah. Winnipeg.
He's from Winnipeg. Corey Crawford, who's still
Montreal.
not there, is Montreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grew up a big Canadiens fan, and the funny thing is, he owns the Canadiens. You look at his
I know.
numbers against the Canadiens. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we're getting close to NHL action, which is nice. I'm honestly, out of all the sports coming back, I think I'm ready to just watch hockey. I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's more relaxing for me. Watching a Bears game is stressful, like super stressful.
Yeah.
Baseball, I love it. It can be slow. It can be real slow. Basketball is just sort of like, you know, it peaked when I was in high school, but it lost some of its luster to me. But the NHL, I just love watching it. It's fast paced. You don't have to sit there all night and watch a 3-hour game. It goes pretty fast. And I can just sit back and relax, especially knowing that the Blackhawks have zero hope of winning that first round series. So it's really just going to be watching hockey and enjoying it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like it could be a fun ride. Maybe it'll be ugly for the Hawks, but hey, just seeing Hawks hockey in August that actually means something could be a lot of fun, no matter how it turns out. Could be fun. As long as the arena they're playing in is still not underwater.
I was reading a quote from Slater Cuckoo. So he's
Cuckoo.
He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season, and the quote is, "I'm not sure if my agent and Stan Bowman have had a conversation yet. I would obviously love to re-sign here in Chicago." Like his agent hasn't even talked to Stan, so it's like, who knows what the hell's happening over there? But I don't know. I'm just excited for hockey to come back. It's just going to be nice. I think I'm going to feel like things, I know things won't be regular, but it's when somebody hoists the Stanley Cup, it's going to feel a whole lot more regular.
Will they have to put on gloves to hoist the Stanley Cup? They might have to. Seriously, though, what are they going to do with it? Like, passing it around?
Yeah, nobody's drinking out of it.
Ugh,
They're all gonna borrow the white gloves from the guy.
Yeah. He'll have a whole box of them and be like, all right, pass them around.
Yeah. So somebody posted on Facebook today, and it hurt my brain a little bit. So I'm going to give you 3 catcher names. Okay?
Okay.
One is your starter. One, I'm sorry, did I say goalie or catcher?
You said
I don't
catcher, but I know what you mean.
Okay, goalie names.
I know what you mean.
And one you have to start, one is your backup, and one you have to cut. And your names are Patrick Waugh. Wait, let me go make sure I have the correct names here. No, it's Dominic Hasek, Patrick Waugh, and Martin Brodeur.
I think I'd go. I think I'd go start Dominic Hasek, back up Martin Brodeur, cut Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, so
Dominic Hasek is like my favorite goalie ever. The Dominic.
I mean, they're all absolutely dominant goalies. I mean, they're all absolutely fantastic. But so to pick one and not the be able to choose one, it's just like it made my brain hurt. So you have Patrick Waugh, who's got 4 cups. Brodeur has 3 cups. Dominic Hasek has 2 cups. But they all have their goals against average in the playoffs are 2, which is stupid good. What I chose was you start Dominic Hasek, you bench Martin Brodeur, and I put you cut Patrick Waugh because he's an asshole.
That's kind of my thinking, actually. I'll be honest with you. The reason I cut Patrick Waugh is because he's kind of a douche. A great player. I mean, fantastic player.
Yeah, it's tough. But all of these guys are good. But I went with Hasek because he has 6 Vezina trophies, 2 Hart trophies, and a career 2 goal against average in the playoffs. And he carried the Sabres. That guy was stupid good. And he wore the best sweater in hockey for a while.
He did. And, the Blackhawks have had a very good history of goaltending. I mean, lately we've had Corey Crawford. Then before that, we had Ed Belfour and Dominic Hasek. Then you had Tony O. Then you had Glenn Hall. You had Bannerman for a while. They have a really good history of goaltending.
Their history of goaltending is the exact polar opposite of the Bears' history in quarterbacks.
Yep, touche.
Legitimately, they're so far apart. They're if Scottie Pippen did his wingspan, opposite fingers, because that man has a 9'2" wingspan. Yeah, so I was just looking at that and I was like, man, my brain hurts because those are 3 stupid good goalies. And all I could think though is after I was it hurt my brain at first. I was like, there's no wrong answer, but there's no right answer either. And then I was like, all I could think of after that, my next thought was, I guarantee there's Flyers fans that are bitching, moaning that where's Bernie Parent? Where's Bernie Parent? That's all I could think of is the stupid accent going, where's Bernie Parent? Just being mad.
Okay, question. Who do you think... So, since Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur have been gone from the league for a few years now, obviously Patrick Waugh was gone before Martin Brodeur was, but let's say you take those guys away. Who do you think has been the best goaltender in the NHL the past, 10, 15 years? Because there's a lot of good ones.
There's been a lot of good ones.
Henrik Lundqvist is good. Carey Price is good. Pecorine is good.
You saw Jonathan Quick be real good for a while. You saw Corey Crawford be great for a while. Did you say Pecorine?
I did.
He's been great for there's been some really good goalies. I don't know if I'd say I'd put any of them with the greats because just the time. But
yeah,
I mean, here's I'm just reading some quick stats of those three guys that. So Dominic Hasek is a career regular season. He has 389 regular season wins with a 2.2 goals against average. And in the playoffs, he's got 14 shutouts and a 2.01 goals against. He was all rookie team, first team all-star 6 times, 2-time Pearson Award winner, 2-time Hart Trophy winner, 6-time Vezina Trophy winner, 3-time Jennings Trophy winner. And he didn't start being a regular starting goalie until he was 27 years old.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Patrick Waugh has 551 regular season wins with 2.54 goals against. He has 23 career shutouts in the playoffs with a 2.3 goals against. He's a 3-time Conn Smythe Trophy winner, 4-time first team All-Star, 2-time second team All-Star, 3-time Vezina Trophy winner, 5-time Jennings Trophy winner. Let's see. Where is Brodeur? Brodeur has 625 regular season wins, 2.22 goals against average, 23 shutouts, 2.01 goals, 23 shutouts in the playoffs, 2.01 goals against in the playoffs. First team all rookie team, Calder Cup trophy winner, first team all-star 3 times, 4-time second team all-star, 4-time Jennings Trophy winner, 4-time Vezina Trophy winner. It's just 3 stupid, ridiculous goalies.
I love looking at goalie stats. Like some of the best goalies of all time. I just love looking at that stuff. Goalies, man, I mean, I think they're one of the most underappreciated positions in all of sports. I mean, you want to talk about needing reflexes. You think about how fast that puck is going and how quick you need to stop it. And you know what's even crazier? To think that there was a day where goalies didn't wear helmets. Have you ever seen pictures of Terry Sawchuk?
Oh my God, yeah. It's insane. It's insane to think that they took slap shots without any sort of protective face covering.
Nuts. And it was for years.
Yeah, it's insane. And even the first face masks, they were like Jason Friday the 13th face masks. Like they're nothing like the what they have now.
No. Because you weren't really protected the top and the back of your head. It was really just your face.
Yeah, literally. And it was a piece of plastic on there. And I don't think it stopped any of the pain. It probably stopped broken bones.
Probably hurt like hell.
So I thought about goalies here of the recent era, maybe the last 10 years. And I'm going to say either Carey Price or Henrik Lundqvist, probably the best.
And you know what's funny? None of those guys don't have a Stanley Cup.
It's true. Tuukka Rask's got to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Marc-Andre Fleury's got to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Quick, Pekka Rinne. We forgot Roberto Luongo. He was a hell of a goalie for a while.
Yes, he was.
But then he just sort of fizzled fast.
Oh, and he also was known for kind of choking in the playoffs.
That's true.
But you know what? As much as I hated the Canucks in those Hawks rivalry days, I always had respect for them. I always respected it.
Yeah, Corey Crawford here, Devin Dubnyk, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Where's what's his face? The guy that used to be on the He was on the Coyotes, and he was on the Flyers, and he was on the Wild.
Mike Smith?
No. Shoot. Ilya Bryzgalov.
Oh.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, let's see. If you're looking at, and I just pulled up here, let's see. Goals against average over the last 10 years. I'm not going to consider him because he didn't play that many games. Tuukka Rask, of the guys that have started a lot of games, Tuukka Rask, number 1, Ben Bishop, 2, Jonathan Quick, 3, Antti Ranta, 4, Pekka Rinne, Corey Schneider.
Corey Schneider. Remember when he was the backup in Vancouver?
Yeah. Marc-Andre Fleury, Carey Price, Corey Crawford, Yaroslav Halak, Roberto Longo, Darcy Kemper, Henrik Lundqvist, Jake Allen, Braden Holtby, Sergei Bobrovsky, Devin Dubnyk, Ilya Samsonov. Oh, he only played 26 games. He didn't count. Andrei Vasilevsky. I don't know if I call those guys the greats. I would say you'd probably have Carey Price, Henry Lundqvist, Tuukka Rask, Jonathan Quick. I'd throw Corey Crawford in there because he did it pretty close to those guys' level, and he's got multiple cups.
Mm-hmm.
So, nowhere near the upper echelon of like the three names that I was throwing out before.
Yeah, they're all good, but they're not Martin Brodeur, Patrick Waugh, or Dominik Hasek.
Yeah, you're not in the same, echelon there of like a Ken Dryden or Brodeur or Terry Sawchuk or Glenn Hall, Patrick Waugh. You're just...
Glenn Hall used to throw up before every game, fun fact.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Hall, career stats, 407 wins, 2.49 goals against. Calder Cup, Conn Smythe, first team All-Star 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, second team All-Star 4 times, Vezina Trophy winner 3 times. Played for a long time. Played throughout the entire 50s, 60s, and retired in the 70s.
He played a long time.
That is a long time. I mean, that is a long time. How long did Brodeur played? When did he retire? He played a long time too.
Remember when Brodeur retired? He played a little bit with St. Louis. Not very long, but he did play for them very briefly at the end of his career.
Let's see. When did he retire?
It was a few years ago. I want to say like 2013, 2014-ish. Somewhere around there. 2015.
So he
7 games in St. Louis.
He played 91 to 2015. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And
21 years.
Patrick Waugh played 84 to 2003. And Hasek played 1990 to 2006. Man, these guys been able to play for a long time.
It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough on the body to take all those shots and having to stretch out like that. Couldn't imagine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I just can't imagine playing that long. I mean, even if you started playing like you're 22, 23, playing 20-some years, you're in your 40s. That's like, I can't imagine at my age going out there and taking slap shots against me.
Yeah. No thanks. Do you remember when Shea Weber would like shatter goalies' helmets?
Yeah, with like 100-mile-an-hour slap shots.
Nuts. I would not want to face that. Not in the slightest. I just get out of the crease and be like, you know what? Just shoot. You can have it. Have the goal. After you.
Oh, Shea Weber. He's only 34 years old.
Shea Weber?
Yeah. He really went downhill quickly.
Yeah, I know, because he was kind of one of the big guys in hockey for a while.
Yeah.
Remember when he was in Nashville all those years?
Smashville?
Smashville. Yeah, he's been in Montreal, let's see, the last 4 years. And because he was involved, I think, in the PK Subban deal, if I remember correctly.
And I made a big mistake. I said that Montreal got the better of that deal that first year, and I'm mistaken because Shea Weber is not good.
It's too bad because he was fun to watch for a while.
He was a very good hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy. He's not that old.
No, yeah, like you say, kind of went downhill pretty fast. When he hit the 30 mark, that's when things kind of slipped.
Yeah. I mean, his I know plus minus is not the best of stats, but his plus minus from 2016-2017 was 20, and 2017-2018 was -8. I have to look up like the advanced stats because I have to admit I don't watch a ton of Montreal games.
No, I don't either. I don't see much of them.
My wife will laugh because baseball, I might watch a minute here and there of like another game. It's not Cubs or Sox, but with hockey, just like even any random team, if the game's on, I'm like, let's sit down and watch this.
Sure.
Like
you know what I really like watching when it's on NHL Network is when the Leafs play the Montreal Canadiens.
The two sports where I'm eating ice cream right now, America. The two sports I'll sit down and watch any game are NHL and college football. I will watch some teams. I'm like, I don't even know where that team plays. I'm like Southeast Liberty State. I don't know who they are.
wherever that is.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know who that team is, but I will sit down and watch that because I love college football.
Hey, yeah, football's football, man. I'll watch it. Even if I don't know where the heck they are, I'll watch it.
I will. Like, NFL's fun, but it's like, it's so evenly matched. But like, sometimes with college, you're just like, one guy just being a better athlete than everybody else on the field. So you're like, this guy just ran for 300 yards and nobody could stop him. That just doesn't happen that often in the NFL.
No, it doesn't.
It's just one of those things. So it's fun to watch college football because just one guy being the best guy on the field makes the absolute difference.
Somebody on the Sox just hit a bomb. I don't know who that was.
Ugh. Cut that deficit.
Adam Engel of all people. Oh, whatever.
Out of the boppers in the outfield, Adam Engel is the one that hits a home run.
And that was not a cheapy one at all. That was not cheap at all. Yeah, that was just asking to get killed. That pitch was...
Well, here's the thing.
That was fast.
This is like a total Kyle Hendricks. You're rolling along, shutout, and in the fifth, you give up a solo home run. and then you roll along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a question.
That was a missile.
Is David Ross going to trust Kyle Hendricks to pitch more innings than Joe Maddon did?
I kind of feel like he will. I think a lot of people feel the same way. We'll see, but I have that feeling he will.
Joe Maddon was always so quick to jump on him and get him out.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because he's a softer thrower, but the thing is you know how fast he's going to throw. It's the movement he puts on the fastball, the location. It's not like Greg Maddux, where he was going to go out there and fool you with throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball past you. It was the location and the movement, and just a pinpoint accuracy. That's kind of what I mean. I keep saying, like, compare him to Maddux doesn't mean that he's as good as Greg Maddux, because Greg Maddux is one of the best pitchers ever, but that same style. And you sort of just got to trust that the guy, if you can't hit him in the first, you're probably not going to hit him in the seventh either.
Right. Now, this is interesting. I thought I heard somewhere that Kyle Hendricks was going to be on a leash around 75 pitches. He just threw his 80th fly out by Eloy Jimenez. I wonder if they're just going to try to let him finish the inning, and that's it.
Why are they going to have him on a pitch count? Just because he's going to start Friday?
Yeah, and I mean, it's an exhibition, so there's no real need for him to go deep.
So they're going to selling. What channel are you watching the game on?
I'm watching CSN.
Okay. The 50-50 raffle tickets. What are they doing? That's weird. We probably have different commercials.
Are you watching ESPN?
I'm watching NBC Sports.
Really?
Yeah, we probably have different commercials because I think the channel sells the commercial. I mean the networks, the provider sells the commercials. What was your last commercial?
I don't remember. I wasn't really paying attention to commercials.
You don't pay attention to commercials?
Only sometimes.
Just kidding.
Only sometimes.
So is there anything else going on?
Did you see that Bulls thing from the other day?
Which Bulls thing?
Where the Reinsdorfs really stand for Jim Boylan?
If they do, they're dum-dums.
Well, yes.
I did see that the Reinsdorfs are complaining about money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I lost 9 figures. Oh.
I want to put into perspective. So Jerry Reinsdorf owns both the Bulls and the White Sox. He bought both of them for around a total of $30 million. Those two teams right now, combined, are probably worth close to like $5.5 billion. $5.5 billion. So even if you lost, which I don't believe because we can't see the books, I don't believe he lost what he says he lost. But if he did, that's still a drop in the bucket from $5.5 billion profit that you're making if you could just sell the team right now, both teams.
But we've lost. Look at the money we lost, and we don't want to pay 2 coaches, so we got to stand for Jim Boylan.
We are in the biggest job loss market in since the Great Depression, as far as our unemployment. And there's people out of work. There's industries that are being shuttered. Businesses are folding left and right. And this guy has the the balls to talk about how he lost some money. He got raked online.
Mm-hmm. And he should have.
As well he should have. I don't think he got raked enough. People should just dragged him. I mean, that was the most tone-deaf thing I could have thought about. Is, so what? You lost money. And now they're cutting jobs. The White Sox are cutting jobs. And so there's people that are losing their livelihoods. And this guy is, if you go liquidate his assets, is a billionaire. So I just, why do I have sympathy for a guy that's worth billions of dollars?
Especially when it's a guy like Jerry Reinsdorf. I don't. They're going to use that as excuse to keep Jim Boylan because they don't want to pay. Wouldn't they be paying 3 coaches technically?
Are they still paying Thibodeau?
I'm talking Fred Hoiberg. Are they still paying him?
Yeah, I'm sure they are. But are they still paying Thibodeau?
I don't think so.
That would be hilarious if they were paying like 4 coaches. But yeah, who cares? Who cares?
Who cares?
It's a drop in the bucket versus what the guy is worth.
You're gonna lose more money keeping Jim Boylan. Like, seriously.
Yeah, you at this point you don't have that crutch of corporations owning corporate seats, and that's what carries the White Sox. I mean the Bulls, their attendance numbers. The reason they're still high, even though they're bad, is because corporations buy them so they can take clients, and it's not fans so much. So, you know, you're not going to have that crutch of all of these, you know, corporations buying season tickets. You're going to have to rely on people actually watching the games on television. And if they're not watching, then, you know, that's bad business. And people are going to tune out because of Boylan.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with that. Why would you? What he does.
He's garbage. Garbage coach.
I mean, it's easy. I mean, the players had a mutiny against him, for goodness sake.
Yeah, your players don't like... The whole thing is you want to win. So why wouldn't you get a coach in there that's on the same page as your new president of basketball operations and your new GM? Is if they keep Jim Boylan, this whole thing was for naught. That means... Yeah. That means John Paxson and ownership still has way too much say in what's going on. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah. That you've lost the faith of the fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
it's all goodwill that you've got from moving on from John Paxson and getting rid of Gar Forman. Like, all of that goodwill is going to be out the door if you keep Jim Boylan.
Yep.
I know Big Dave just keeps saying it's coming, but
I feel less optimistic about that by the day. I've been saying that for a long time, but things are a little different now.
Man, Jarrell Cotton is terrible.
Yeah.
He's throwing batting practice up.
Yeah, he's throwing BP.
But I can't. You cannot go through another season with Jim Boylan. You know, if you're that hard up for money, have a player coach. I don't care. You can't have Jim Boylan. You can't. You have no coach. Just have the assistants step up. You can't have Jim Boylan go back into that building. It is everything that you're trying to do. You're going to waste another year of the young guys that you're trying to build and trying to see if they're going to be cornerstones. Lauri Markkanen, is he a guy that you're going to pay a bunch of money to? You have to find that.
Yeah.
You have to figure that out before you give him a big contract. And he's going to be due a pretty big contract. So you better figure out if he's the guy. And under Jim Boylan, you're not going to figure that out. You are running out of time to figure out if he's the guy.
I mean, they really should have figured that out already, but, what do I know?
Well, between injuries and Jim Boylanisms, you didn't get a good peak.
Boy, they need to get Jarrell Cotton out of there. Oh, boy.
He is bad. Wow.
Yee.
Did they not have somebody warmed up in the bullpen? Is that...
Yeah, this BP ain't working.
Like, look at that just hanging there. How that didn't go out of the park? He got that clean.
Yeah, I thought that was gone off the bat.
Was there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please make sure you hit subscribe, however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn app, Spotify, Google Play, any of the podcast providers. Follow us on social media at ShyFanPat1, at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com. Share this podcast with your friends. That's how we grow the show. And thank you guys again for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like... Remember, New Yorkers, smoking crack is not legal on planes.
Bears 31 to -7.
The Bears! Oh, when the Bears go bearing down